Let's now get some perspective. We are being joined by Dr. Mordechai Kedar from Tel Aviv. He is a former senior IDF military intelligence officer, an Israeli scholar of Arabic culture, and a lecturer at Bar Ilan University. Dr. Kedar, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Now, let me begin by asking you, we have the ceasefire that is holding up in its early days, of course, and we have a poll that suggests Netanyahu's ruling bloc is projected to lose its majority. Could you bridge this for us from the battlefield to the Knesset?
Look, any poll conducted by Channel 12 is totally unreliable because Channel 12 expresses the opposition. This is why it is highly politicized, and nobody here in Israel believes Channel 12. So I'm a little bit confused that you in WION quote this totally unreliable Channel 12 here in Israel. But, you know, freedom of speech is given to everybody, even to those who are irreliable. This is one thing. Second thing, yes, the Israeli population are divided between those who support the ceasefire with Hamas, with Hezbollah in Lebanon, because they want to put an end to any war. The others who are against it, who are also like a third of the population, they are afraid that this only is the beginning of the next war. Because if Hezbollah is allowed to come back to the villages in the south and to renew its power, because the world doesn't do anything against terror organizations, so we are going to face the same problem in 2, 3, or 4 years. And don't forget that we are facing in Hamas, in Gaza, and in Lebanon with Hezbollah, the same problem which India is facing, as we saw in Mumbai, in the big attacks on Mumbai. The same terrorism which comes from the same ideas of destruction against everybody who doesn't share with them the religion and the culture.
I want to go back to a statement you made. You said Israel is willing to put an end to any war. Right after the ceasefire that we saw between Hezbollah and Israel, Hamas came forward and said they are ready to talk for a ceasefire. Is Israel willing to do that?
Israel wants to clean Gaza from Hamas. If Hamas remains in Gaza, it will repeat what they did on October 7, 2023. No doubt, because these are jihadists. And to change their mind, so this is why we insist on, first of all, releasing the hostages. Secondly, not to let Hamas return to the power and to their ability to repeat what they did on October 7, 2023.
Dr. Kedar, with all due respect, we have been hearing that from Israel for the past 1 year. Give us a timeline. It's been more than a year. How long more?
No. Just to remind you, the war between Iran and Iraq lasted for 8 years. The war between the Houthis and Saudi Arabia was also many years. Here in the Middle East, nobody can stand with a stopwatch and wait for the end of wars. This is not the area. This is not India here. Here people are belligerent. Here people are fighting with each other forever. The Sunni and the Shia are fighting each other for 14 centuries. Okay, this is the Middle East. I wish we would live here in an environment like India.
Dr. Kedar, I spoke to a political analyst just yesterday who said something on the lines of, actually called Donald Trump, the president-elect of US, the peace president. In fact, he said that Israel is just waiting for Donald Trump to take office because they would give a free hand to Benjamin Netanyahu if he stays in office, that is, till January. The thing is, the reason I'm bringing this up, just let me continue. The reason I bring this up because this was a political analyst speaking to me from Tehran. How do you react to that?
The question is not the free hand which the United States under Trump will give Netanyahu. The question is what the United States will do against the biggest threat on the world peace, Iran, which supports the terrorism in Yemen, which, it harms India because the trade of India with Europe is under big difficulties because of the Houthis, which are armed and trained and sponsored by Iran. The same thing with all the terrorism in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. and I believe in India as well, which is sponsored by the main source of terrorism today in the world, which is Iran. The question is, what will the next administration in the United States do with this problem, which threatens the stability and the peace all over the world, not only here in Israel?
Dr. Kedar, it's unfortunate. I'll have to leave the conversation with that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.